business owner? Entrepreneur? Want to learn how online marketing can improve your business?
Your questions.
Our advice.
This is Not a Real Job.
Welcome to episode 60 of Not a Real Job, the best podcast that is specifically about marketing, social media, entrepreneurship, that is hosted by two people, and one of whom is in Canada. That's me, and one of whom isn't. I'm Joel Kelly.
I am Chris Van Patten.
Well, Chris, you were late.
I was late.
Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. I realized that I had no booze.
Oof.
And that is an issue, as listeners of the show know. Well, not really an issue. It hasn't been in the past, but I decided today I was going to make it an issue.
All right. Well, now this is awkward. Let's get into what we're drinking so you can see why it's a problem.
We'll get this out of the way. All right. So I'll go first because I want to.
Yep.
I am drinking a Smutty Nose Brewing Company Farmhouse Ale, and it is an ale brewed with sage. So it's basically like a traditional Belgian saison or something. And it's great.
Now, did you buy this in Williamsburg?
No, I did not.
It feels like something that would come out of Brooklyn.
No, because I think if you buy it from Brooklyn, it has to be made in Brooklyn for the authentic experience.
And this was not.
This was not. No, I think this is made in New Hampshire. Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
The Live Free and Die state?
I think it's the Die Hard state.
Die Hard. What a good movie. I need to watch that again.
I have never seen it.
Oh.
I know. I'm just a disappointment.
That's a big problem. I was going to make sure that you saw a bit of Halifax while you were up here, but instead I think I'm going to have to sit you down and make sure you watch Die Hard.
I mean, you're the tour guide. I defer to your judgment.
Perfect. I watched the first half, or probably 2/3 of Rocky 3 again last night. Totally holds up. I friggin' love those movies, and that's probably the worst one. Well, Rocky 5 is the worst one.
I will also add to this that I have never seen any of the Rocky movies, any 5 of them.
There's 6.
Okay, sure. I'll take your word for it.
Well, the 6th one, called Rocky Balboa, that came out in like 2006, 2007 maybe, and the other ones, of course, are all from the 70s and 80s.
Sure, so it like almost doesn't count.
No, it's the second best one.
Huh.
It goes Rocky 1, Rocky 6, Rocky 2, Rocky 4, Rocky 3, Rocky 5.
This is interesting to me because a couple months ago I went on a date that did not end well. But part of that, I think, was that she was flabbergasted that I had never seen the Rocky movies and was telling me about the importance of the rankings and all of this. So I think that it's probably something I should get solved for my personal life. I have to say, I'm surprised that that's where she set the bar. Sure.
I mean, like, it's...
Maybe that's just what she wanted me to think.
Oh, okay.
Let me down easy, you know?
Yeah. That's a really interesting tactic.
Yeah. It worked.
It worked. Well,
what are you drinking?
I am. So I have a new addiction, Chris. You know me. You know I get addicted to things.
You have an addictive personality.
I have one of those. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I'm really just rolling. I'm chasing the tartness dragon. I'm addicted to pure cranberry juice, like the stuff that on the back of the bottle it just says ingredient 1 cranberry juice, and I can't get enough of stuff. Here's the problem though: it's $9 a bottle.
That's what your commitment to quality is going to get you. That's the punishment.
You would think it would be. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So
you're drinking cranberry juice right now? I am straight up.
Because here's the thing. I added some soda water to it because obviously I also am addicted to soda water. And I go through canisters of CO2 in my soda stream like nothing. But to stretch it out a bit, to cut the cranberry juice a little bit, because I only have one bottle left. They were on sale, so we grabbed a few yesterday. I've gone through literally bottles, plural, of cranberry juice in the last 24 hours.
What are the sizing of these bottles? Are we talking 2-liter bottles? Or?
We're talking a liter or less.
Okay. All right. So it's understandable.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, so I've cut it with some soda water just to stretch it out a bit so I can get a couple more glasses of that. So no booze in it. Which is, I know it's surprising for me, but
I'm a little shell shocked right now.
But the cranberry juice is kind of having a similar effect. It's just so good, and it makes me feel good, and it makes me feel confident and uninhibited.
I'm not going to respond to that other than to say that we are recording a doubleheader today. So can you commit to something a little more adult?
Oh yeah, I'll have a scotch for the next one.
Great. Awesome. We are recording a doubleheader today because this weekend Joel is getting married.
Oh man.
And yeah, and I'm going to be there, and we sort of figured that there wouldn't really be time to do a podcast in all of that craziness. So next week's show is going to be pre-recorded, but it's going to be awesome and you'll like it. And that's all I am going to say about that.
Yeah. And to really just show you where our headspace is at. We are recording this Sunday before, so the wedding is technically, next weekend. But of course, this will come out Wednesday, just a few short days before. We've spent basically our whole weekend doing nothing wedding related, even though we had really, really planned on it. We went shopping for coffee tables today.
An important thing.
Is it?
Is it going to feature in the wedding, I guess? Is there a coffee table themed display or something?
No.
Could there be?
I mean, there could be anything.
Sure.
But no. Just a real waste of time. Let's see. Let's get to a topic here. I have some follow up.
Okay.
On the last show, I talked about how I had purchased an Anker ultra slim USB keyboard, but I hadn't had much time to play with it before the show. I've had it for I've been using it for the week now, working on my book, and I've got to say it's fantastic. So
awesome.
If you didn't buy it based on my recommendation last week, you should do that now, even if you don't need it. I say just pick one up. You never know when it'll come in handy.
I think most sane people keep a keyboard stash hidden away in their basement or their crawl space or something, because you do never know when you are going to have a keyboard emergency.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, totally. Like not having the ability to type wirelessly over Bluetooth is, that's like not having a first aid kit or a gun.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I personally keep my stash in a safety deposit box at the bank. But I think this is where your creativity and your imagination can come into play.
Yeah, exactly. So you might want to work it into, like, let's say the decoration in your home. This could be a mantelpiece. It could be like a centerpiece on a table.
Just any kind of piece.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a masterpiece.
I think it will be a masterpiece.
Well, let me tell you, this keyboard is pretty hot. It's got the micro USB connector.
Oh, wait. I thought this was a wireless keyboard.
You got to charge the thing, Chris.
Okay, my keyboard uses old school batteries, like out of a remote control or something.
The name of it is ultra slim.
Sure.
They can't fit a battery in here. Well, obviously there's a battery in here, but it's
not round.
Well, it's not cylindrical. No. Sure.
Okay.
No, I'm going to guess lithium ion.
Huh.
If I had to place it,
if you had to lay yourself on the line right there,
based on heft and smell and taste and other senses,
and the fact that most technology products since 2006 are made with lithium-ion batteries.
Well, I mean, we didn't have to do that anyway. So, other follow-up is on iOS 8 and how much it's causing me problems. So, obviously, you and I are now. We're all about these audio text messages.
I love them.
I love them. So convenient. The raise to listen, the raise to respond.
It just works so smoothly.
It just works. Amazing. It just works. That's, you know what? Apple, there's your slogan. I gave it to you. It just works.
I'm sure they've used that at some point.
I don't think so. I think I made that up.
Okay.
But it's still causing me problems.
Still the apps, though?
It's Safari.
Safari's great for me. You really have problems?
Yeah. So
I switched to Safari with this update. I was using Chrome before, and with iOS 8, I was like, screw it. I'm going to use Safari, and it's been awesome.
Oh no, my computer just put itself to. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, the screen just turned off. I was worried that it was putting itself to sleep.
No, I can hear you.
Excellent. So it's especially troublesome with Stellar, Stellar.io. It's a great kind of aggregator, faves aggregator. But I've noticed on other websites too, where I will click on a link on a page, it will open a new tab. I'll read whatever I'm doing over on that tab. I'll close that tab, and it'll go back to, it's usually Stellar because that's really all I use my iPad for is reading Stellar. And that page will only half load, if at all, and I've got to refresh.
Okay, so this, I think, is a bug that I have experienced something similar to this, but I'm pretty sure it's the way it's always worked. For me, anyway. And it's down to, like, its memory usage.
Yeah.
So I guess the issue here is that iOS 8 uses more memory than iOS 7, and now you're experiencing this problem.
Well, okay, so now the problem of the open tab needing to refresh, 100%. That has been, yes, you're absolutely
so
right.
We're talking about something different.
We're talking about a bug where it doesn't, like, load all the way. Half the screen is gray. I took a screenshot. We'll put it up in the show notes so you can see what I'm talking about. That's the bug where, sure, refresh the page, but it only loads halfway, and then I have to manually refresh. Which is a great burden. Well, it's obviously, it's not ruining my life. This won't be in my suicide note, but
being difficult. I haven't experienced that. Yeah. I don't know why it went so smoothly for me, but you're having... Really, the only issue that I have is that if I choose like a third-party keyboard, after like a couple days, the full access gets turned off, and I have to go back in and turn it on. But that's
like we said on the last show, the third-party keyboards, that's all. That's going to be buggy. Yeah,
sure. Safari, no excuse.
Yeah, I've given up on the third-party keyboards until that gets fixed.
Well, I have to tell you, today I found on the App Store a GIF keyboard. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It is a keyboard where they have hundreds and hundreds of GIFs categorized. So you can pick a category and automatically insert that into your iMessages. So that's amazing.
GIFs play in iMessages?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Send me a GIF.
Okay. I'm going to do that.
Let's do it live. This will make for good podcasting.
Good podcast radio. All right. Joel Kelly. Here we go.
Why did you keep my message? I kept yours because it was funny.
I didn't. No, I don't. Okay, that's one thing I don't understand, but that's more of me not understanding what it is at all. All right, let's do. I'm going to choose from the #hearts category. And here we go. And sent. Brace yourselves, folks.
This is exciting.
It just sent. It is delivered.
Oh. Arrived. I put my speaker on just so people could hear that. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's Doug. It's Doug from the TV show Douglas.
That's my favorite of the TV shows.
Yeah.
So yeah,
wow, that was exciting.
We'll put the link to this in the show notes, but it's super awesome. So yeah, that's my thing.
Should we talk about the Bash situation?
Sure. So really quickly, only because we have questions this week, actually. But the basic thing is that there's a vulnerability in this software called Bash. And if you've ever used Linux or Unix-based systems before, other than the Mac, unless you're a developer, you've probably encountered Bash. It's in like, I think, close to 100% of Linux computers or and Linux operating systems.
Much of the internet is run on Linux.
Yeah. It's on your Mac because your Mac is based on Unix. So like it's Bash is
Unix,
everywhere.
I know that. That's
the Unix system.
That's the 3D OS from Jurassic Park.
Exactly. So Bash basically is a software that you use to control your computer. It's like a command line terminal kind of thing, like that you would expect in a hacker sequence in a bad movie. Except that it's not bad, but it can be used for bad, as all things on computers, especially MS Paint. Anyway, so there is a vulnerability in Bash that lets remote people take control of your server, and that's very scary. Now, the difference. So I have mixed feelings on this. Obviously, it's a bug. Obviously, we want to patch it, but it's not. The problem is less that there's a problem in Bash. There definitely is a problem in Bash, but a server has to be configured in a way that allows this bug to exist. So like what I mean by that is basically like all of the servers that we have at Van Patten Media were configured in a way that the only way this bug could be executed, and it could be executed, but the only way is that an attacker would have to actually have direct access to the server already. And if they already have direct access to the server, the Bash bug is probably not going to be the first thing that they do, that they execute. Yeah. So it's really a problem in like older shared hosts or older systems that haven't been structured in a way that prevent this. So like the bug exists no matter what. Even on our servers, like it exists, but because we had taken other precautions, it was like a non-issue. And I emailed all of our managed hosting clients and I said as much. I was like, if you hear about this, don't worry about it. We've already patched it, but it's never going to be an issue for your sites because of the way that we've set up our servers. So part of me, like, it's clearly a bug that needs to be fixed. There's no doubt about that. And the patches have been released. If you are a Linux person, you can fix this bug. But it's just as much a failing of the people who set up all these servers in a way that allowed them to execute like random commands on a computer by typing in a URL like that. You should never do that. That's a terrible idea. And yeah, so that's my sort of take on it. It's definitely a serious bug that you should take seriously, but also like next time, be a little bit smarter about how you set up your servers.
Cool.
End of story.
Yeah, well, that sounds good. That's a great summary. Yeah, my understanding is that none of our clients were affected by it either. So I don't think it was. Everyone's saying because it's more widespread, it's worse than Heartbleed because OpenSSL isn't necessarily on every single website versus something like this. But like you said, I mean, there were many precautions that could have been taken already.
It's vastly more widespread, but I think the impact is going to be dramatically less overall. Not that to say we shouldn't take it seriously, but I think overall it's not going to be the problem that Heartbleed was. Mm-hmm. So there we go.
Sounds good. Heartbleed, though, for me, turned out to be a net win because it forced me to really think about my password game.
Did you finally get on the 1Password?
Oh, yeah, I'm on 1Password. Yeah, excellent. Definitely. 100%.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially now in iOS 8 with the autofill in Safari.
So good.
It's amazing. Changes the game.
Yeah. So yeah, 1Password, man. I don't know what I did without it. Like, well, I know what I did. I used shitty passwords and tried to remember them. Mm-hmm.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah, of course. Terrible idea. So now, like, I'm very cavalier about everything. Like, no, I don't know any of my passwords.
Yes, they're all random, like 50 characters. Like, couldn't be harder to remember. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's where 1Password is awesome. Why they come in.
Fantastic. So, question.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you, Oz, our number one super fan, Oz Hatkey, who
friend
you
of
might
the
remember.
show.
Friend of the show. Our best friend in real life, too.
Best friend of the show.
Co-best friend, because Chris and I are obviously best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then Oz is our co-best friend.
Sure. So it's like a trifecta of friendship.
Of besties.
A triforce of friendship. A triangle of friendship. A try-harder of friendship. I'm going to stop saying things with try in front of them.
I'm going to read her question now. Mm-hmm. In episode 58, that was 2 episodes ago for you math whizzes.
Those keeping count at home.
Yeah. You guys mentioned that you see video marketing being relevant and emerging. Making a marketing video for a small business, a local contractor, was one of the freelance jobs that I got with your advice over the summer. It has been a lot of work and a great learning experience. The video isn't up yet because my client wants a few more edits. It's been super rewarding and a fantastic creative outlet for me, and I would love to make more of them. So, how do I market my small business videos?
All right, so I have a question, a clarifying question before we continue. I'm going to ask this to you, Oz, but I realize you can't answer because you're not on the show right now.
I'll pretend to be Oz.
Sure, great, perfect, role play, I love it.
Yeah.
When you say, how do I market my small business videos, do you mean that you want to market the videos that you have created, or you want to market your service creating videos?
No, you big dummy. It's, of course,
or none of the above.
She wants to market her ability to make these videos. She's marketing herself.
Sure. Okay.
We call that self-marketing.
I will take your word
That's
for
what
it.
Selfie means.
Oh, man, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
All right.
So she makes these videos. She wants to do more of them. Really, the clues were all in her question, Chris, for you to piece this together.
Okay.
So she wants to do more of these videos. Oh my God, if I'm wrong about this. Anyway, doesn't matter. Never tell us.
You are.
I'm going to answer the question I'd rather answer anyway.
Fair enough.
Which is, you do something cool, you want to do more of it, and get paid to do more of it. How do that? Mm-hmm. That was her question, I think.
Okay, sure.
Well, I mean, it's really interesting. I've worked with a few different like small business video creation companies. I mean, a big part of it, of course, is just going to be word of mouth and getting yourself out there. But a lot of it too was, if your video is up on YouTube, asking if you can include a line in the video description of who made the video. Like when Ryan Holiday was marketing his book, The Obstacle is the Way, which we've talked about on the show. I'm a big fan of the book. He made these commercials. Well, he had a company make the commercials for him, like ads to go on internet. And I think in the description of the video on YouTube, it just had like one line about video by XYZ company. Can't remember it right now, but I looked it up and it seemed great. And if I ever have the budget to do that sort of thing, I will absolutely go to them. Well, obviously I'll go to Oz now that she's doing these, but I would have gone to them. So I think that's step one. It's like that, the examples we talked about in our growth hacking episode about using your existing client base as a way to market yourself to other clients.
Yeah. And I have to interrupt. I'm sorry. I'm just going to derail here.
Why?
I'm looking at the Google Doc of the questions thing, and your cursor was randomly just jumping up and down, and I don't understand what just happened.
That was me playing with my keyboard.
Okay. Is this the new keyboard or something different?
I'm sorry. That's what I'm doing. I click around when I'm reading. Everyone does it. It's normal.
Okay, sure. Okay. Anyway, I completely agree with what Joel said. I think there are definitely some creative pursuits that you can't really attach your name to. Like, I think graphic design, like you can't really put your name on it, even for websites. Now he's selecting text, whatever. For websites, you can put your name on it. I don't like to do that. Now he's changing the color. But with video, I think it's kind of normal. Like it's very standard to see. I'm sorry. I'm changing the tab. Okay. So it's very standard in video, I think, to have a credit of some kind to whoever created that video. Even in corporate video where they're paying you a lot of money, I think video is a situation where we're kind of used to credits on videos, whether it's a movie having its own credits and YouTube. And I think the reason with YouTube that works is because they hide most of the stuff. So unless your credit is first, it's not going to be super obvious that it's there. And I think that's a totally legit thing to do. The other thing I would say is don't be afraid. Well, not that there's fear, I guess, but create a couple videos for yourself. You've done the video for Doodle, and maybe create a couple more for fun, or try to find friends you can create them for, and put together a reel. And a reel is a really great way to showcase your style. It's basically a reel, I'm sure you know, but for the other listeners, is basically a montage of videos that are cut together to showcase your work in some kind of structured fashion. So a reel is really great. Definitely do that and get it on as many video sites as possible. So this is actually something I've been thinking about recently with Not a Real Job. Like we have the YouTube channel, obviously, but maybe we should be posting our content on Vimeo and Dailymotion and other video sites. So I think whether we do that or not is beside the point, but I think maybe that's something that you should definitely think about because it gets you on more platforms. It's going to make you more visible in search because those big video sites are going to rank a lot higher than your own site. But then also finally, like put it on your site, create a page about your video services. And yeah, like definitely.
I'm going to go even farther with that point though.
Okay.
I think, I mean, let's face it. We've talked about him a lot. No one does, is in the game better than Adam Lissagor and Sandwich Video. So, I mean, anything you can kind of like, take inspiration or straight up steal from of the way he markets his videos, I think is useful. And the fact that he's just got sandwichvideo.com, the main page is just his videos and a couple links about, what it is, who it is, and, how to get in touch. I would recommend doing that because the Oz Hatkey brand is not internationally well known at this point. You're not losing anything by starting a new website. If obviously you were super internationally established, everyone knows you for a different type of business, then I would say, keep that all together and don't lose that juice. But you have an opportunity to make this, your name. So I would say set up a new website. You obviously just use Squarespace, super simple. There's probably a template exactly like this. And just put your videos up there and link back to it. From as many outlets as you have, talk to friends with blogs, obviously like we'll have a link to it in our show notes. If you set this up, get yourself some links pointing to that website. And and obviously, I mean, while I am a big fan of the idea of like the global micro brand that Hugh McLeod talks about, obviously it doesn't hurt to stay local for a bit too and get some local clients, get some people, of local businesses on your website seeing your work and start and grow from there.
I would add one more thing to this from the Adam Lissagor experience, and a lesson to take from him. The Adam Lissagor experience would be a great band name, by the way. But anyway,
it would be a great TV. I'd watch it. Just Adam Lissagor for a couple days.
Absolutely, it would be great stuff.
Yep.
So one thing that I would take from him and the way that he has created his brand, I guess, is that he has a very specific point of view and a very specific way that he approaches these videos, which is why when you start watching one of the videos that he's involved with, it's it's a sandwich video, even if he's not in it. Yeah, absolutely. Like there's this sort of dry sensibility to it. There's a very specific focus on pacing and the jokes that come out of that. So definitely, obviously you've only done a couple of these, so it's maybe a little bit difficult to have a perspective this early in the process, but always kind of have that in the back of your mind. Like, what is the unique thing that you're bringing to video that somebody else isn't, that Adam's not, that a friend of the show, Benjamin, is not, who we have to mention later. Don't forget. What's the thing that you bring to the table that nobody else does? What's going to make your videos recognizable? Because I think ultimately that's kind of Adam Lissagor's greatest branding secret, is the fact that, he's done all these videos, but when you watch one of his videos, it's one of his videos.
And you know what you're going to get if you're going to become a customer of his. When I was at Radiant 6 and I tried to get approval to do a video with Adam, got so close. Anyway, we knew it was going to be great because his work is great. And, even the preliminary discussions we had with him where he was trying to, get a point of view on what the product was. Like, he spent a bunch of time on the website. He was, you could tell that he probably only spent 10 minutes, but his immediate angle was, okay, what's the story here? He's not a features and benefits video maker. He's going for stories. And that if you're going to work with him, you're going to get a wonderful story about your company, and not just a video that anyone could do. So make sure you have a unique selling point as well. What is it that sets your videos as a brand apart? And that way that'll get you that referral business as well.
Yeah. And maybe think about what are the types of customers you want to serve? Do you want to be in a specific niche? Do you want to be a little more broad than that? And if so, what is the uniting factor in all your videos? Because ultimately, I think having a really strong point of view, and also, obviously that point of view should be palatable to potential clients and the audiences that you want to attract. But I think having a very specific way that you approach your videos is the number one thing that's going to get you success. If you're making cookie cutter videos that 10 other people can make, that might be fine to sort of middle on and kind of get through life, but it's not going to grow very quickly, and it's not going to be a lot of fun to work on unless you like doing substandard work. And we know you don't. So this is more in general. Like, Oz, I know you're going to crush this, but you definitely have to approach something like this with a super strong point of view.
Cool.
Sounds
good. So let's talk about Benjamin.
Yeah. Oh, great. So Oz, you sent in another sort of question discussion point, and I think we're going to either save that for next week or the week after. So just so you know. Ben Harrison, man. He's got a Kickstarter.
Oh man, I'm so excited about this. Okay, so he's got a Kickstarter for his first feature-length documentary called Shoot the Moon, and I am so beyond excited to watch this movie. The idea is they're doing a documentary about these people who are trying to build a space elevator to the moon, which
is awesome.
Which is just so fantastic. Obviously, if you're trying to do this, they're effectively, trying to do it on their own with some crowdfunding and stuff. These are going to be interesting characters that I will absolutely watch a movie about. So anyway, we're super excited for Benjamin. We'll link to we actually had him as a guest on the show a few months ago, and he was terrific. And we would just we really want this to be a huge success. I don't think there's any chance that it's not going to hit its funding mark, but obviously,
well, he does have a crazy good track record with Kickstarters he's connected to. I think it's 100% success rate. So even so, you want to commit to this because it looks so awesome.
Yeah, and let's get it as much money as possible, way above the funding mark, because obviously, I mean, it's just going to make the film better, and it'll obviously help them with the marketing for it as well, and make it a huge success. I want to watch this in a theater, so let's make it happen. We'll have the link in the show notes, but it's called Shoot the Moon by Benjamin R. Harrison.
Yeah, he is. It's on Twitter at shootthemoondoc, DOC. So definitely check it out. We'll put the link in the show notes. I have to admit, I have not donated yet, but it's not because I don't want to. It's because I've been like traveling like a motherfucker. So I will definitely, I'll be putting my money in. I'm sure, Joel, you already have.
I already do.
You're quick with the credit card on there. So it's like a quick draw thing. You got in a holster, ready to go. A holster that you got on a Kickstarter project.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we are both going to give our money to this project, or already have. So like, definitely check it out. It looks amazing, and it's like you said, I really want to see this movie. So let's make it happen.
All right, let's wrap up.
Yes. All right. It has been another episode of Not a Real Job. We survived. Let's give a little bit of housekeeping here. Please find us on iTunes, notarealjob.com/iTunes, and extra please rate the show. Give it a couple of stars. We've been working pretty hard on the show lately, or at least I have. I don't know about you, Joel. You've got a wedding, so
I've been trying. Yeah. As I said, we haven't really spent any time with the wedding. It's just
so the rest has been making our podcast amazing.
Absolutely, I love PCasting with you.
PCasting, it's interesting. Okay, so definitely go on iTunes, rate the show, reward us for our hard work in that way, and maybe even more important than rating the show is telling your friends about the show. So if you're somebody who is a small business type entrepreneurial person, or you work in online marketing, I would love it if you would tell somebody you know who's in the same field about our show, because we would really appreciate that. You can submit questions like Oz did, and like all of our favorite people do. notarealjob.com/questions is the place to go. There's a form there. If you're an emailer type person, questions@notarealjob.com will accomplish the same thing. Finally, if you are interested in advertising on the show, or sponsoring the show, or just generally having us shill your thing, you can do that at notarealjob.com/contact, I believe is URL, or just info@notarealjob.com. Oh,
yeah, that'd be nice. Getting a sponsor would be nice.
For sure.
We've spent a lot of money on this.
Well, speaking of the money that we've spent, what are you going to put in the Amazon store this week? Not to put you on the spot.
Let me think for a second. You go first.
Sure. So I'm also going to put an Anchor product in this week.
Ooh.
And I'm going to put in, I don't remember the name of it, but it is the Anchor Lipstick Charger lipstick form factor. And it's basically this little round cylinder, maybe about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and like 4 inches high, and this thing is amazing. I get a charge and a half on my iPhone, maybe even a little more out of this thing, and it's super compact. It's pretty lightweight for what it is, and I can't recommend it enough. It's $20. Like, really, if you don't have an external battery pack in your life and you have USB chargeable devices, you don't know what you're missing.
I have a Mophie that I wouldn't be able to travel without. Awesome. I am going to put in, I just got this 2 weeks ago, I think. Griffin Technology GC16034 elevator laptop stand. It's $30 in Canada. It's probably cheaper on the American Amazon, which we will have the link to. Basically, it's just a super simple laptop stand. I stand at work, and I had my laptop like perched up on some like reams of paper. So I got this. It's great. I mean, if you're looking for an affordable, simple laptop stand to elevate your laptop, if you use an external keyboard, of course, then this is the stand for you.
Awesome. So we'll have a link to both of those products in the show notes. And by going to our page at notarealjob.com/gear, you'll find all of those links. And if you buy through those links, we get a super, super small sliver of your purchase. And that helps us make the show even better, and hopefully someday in the distant future recoup our costs on this show. I'm not going to hold my breath, but
so deep into the hole at this point, I don't think there's any hope for that. But
sure,
at least stem the tide a bit.
Yeah, definitely. And we only put in stuff that we actually own and use and like. So definitely check that out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to do it for us this week.
Awesome. I think so. At Joel Kelly, at Chris Van Patten. I don't know if you...
I did not. At Narjcast for the show, NARJCAST. And yeah, we'll be back with you next week. Joel will be married and life will be different.
Are we going to do the next episode as if the wedding has happened?
I have already been planning to, so...
Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, I'm excited to get to that one, and I need to go get myself a scotch, so...
Sounds good.
I love you all, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.